Hello, hello, hello. Hey, we have a new and improved stream setup. I've got some nice looking reactive PNGs courtesy of Edelgard, and we got the same song going on. Let me go ahead and just pass that for a second. There we go. So yeah. Hope everyone is having a good weekend. Hope everyone made it through Friday A-okay. Let me know, excuse me. Let me know how the audio is. I've been doing quite a few tweaks on it, especially when it comes to making sure that my voice is nice and clear, making sure the music is pretty engaging. I've did a little bit of research on improving that. Had it work a little bit in the last stream for Magic the Gathering, but this one I did a little bit more tweaks. We'll see how well it goes. I'll be reviewing the VOD later for sure. But I hope everyone's doing good. Also testing out the chat replays on my Streamlabs side. Hopefully I'll see the messages coming in. I gotta trust myself on this one. But we're having a good time. Everyone's having a good time. It is probably somewhere in the afternoon for everyone who's around. I just managed to get my stretching out. Got a little bit of a late morning. Had some fun playing with some people on Friday. I'm excited. Very excited for some new games coming out. Back for Blood. Still want to get it on that. Also, had quite a bit of anticipation for the new Jackbox Party Pack. That one came out, I think, like just a day or two ago. I'm so excited for it. I love their games. Maybe planning a Jackbox stream in the future. That would be pretty cool. Get a collab going. See if any viewers are interested. In any case, what we're here today, we're here to continue our journey into the Dungeon of 100 Floors. What we're gonna do to start things off is I want to review the first floor we did, and maybe, because I had some time to think about it, just make some small tweaks to it. I don't want to go too far into it. I don't want to recreate the first floor all over again. You got to write it down and you got to move on. Anyone using the floors in the future, I'm sure you'll be able to tweak things as you go along. The improvisational nature of it is pretty core for any DM. But we're gonna go ahead and make some small tweaks just for things that I might have forgotten in our descriptions last time. And then we're just gonna go ahead and review what we want to cover, what kind of categories and themes we're going to be looking at in our second floor. And then we're just gonna go ahead and start doing our blueprinting phase. So let's go ahead and jump into our latest iteration. So I've got my handy dandy notepad here that gives us a neat reminder of what mechanics we had or we still need to cover based on our reading of the basic rules, as well as what we had for our first floor. We had our basic catacombs, a burial ground, mining shaft, that kind of deal. You guys can see what's going on here in our map. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a look at the map, and I'm just going to have some thoughts on what we did so far and some tweaks I want to make. The two that I had thought about are mostly in terms of how we're dealing with this goblin and the actual check that we involve using this miner's pick. So what I want to do here is I want to determine or give us a little bit of leeway when it comes to this sort of strength check, because it didn't make a whole lot of sense that without enough strength, or if you just rolled a little poorly when it came to strength, that you just couldn't mine things. That doesn't really make a whole lot of sense, and we're going to tweak this thing a little bit, and we're also going to give ourselves a bit of an opportunity to discuss another mechanic in D&D that doesn't get explored a lot, that we can see what happens here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and tweak our rulings here, tweak our check, and add a few other features to this. Let's go ahead and give ourselves a time frame for mining things. I'm going to go ahead and say that we're going to use something similar to this check on our clearing of the rubble. Since in here, you're always able to clear out the rubble. It's just that the amount of time it takes for you to do so depends on how good your athletics skill is. So in this situation, I'm going to use this 13 strength, but instead of having a hard DC for it, I'm going to say that it takes 3 days of 8 hours each, minus 1 day for every 10 in a strength check. And you have advantage if you're proficient with the war pick. 3 days is probably too short, actually, because we're also gonna split this for everyone. So I'm gonna say 6 days. Split. If in a group, take the highest roll, then divide by the number of players, or participants, I should say. Each one needs a pick. And so what this means is you have, say, an adventuring party of 3 people, and you're doing terrible. Like you roll like ones on all your strength checks. Say you have that. So it would take one person 6 days to do it in that case, to mine through the whole operation. And pardon me. And so even if that is the case, then you could still, divide the work among 3 people, and you would still take only 2 days, which is not terrible considering that you rolled so poorly. But yes, we're going to go ahead and do something like this, and then we can add one more caveat. Players can exert, or I'll say overexert, to cut the time in half again, but take 1 level of exhaustion when complete. Or rather, Yeah, when complete. And so what this means is if you are, let's say you had a decent strength check, you're at 10 at least. And so that takes this down to 5 days. You've got 3 players, and that means that on average, 5 divided by 3 is what, I'm good at math, 1.6 days. 1.6 days, or that's going to be about 12 hours to do everything. And then they could, if all the players agree, to overexert themselves again. And then instead of 12 hours, take 6 hours. So it's not even 1 day to mine through everything. But when they're done, they take a level of exhaustion. And exhaustion is a pretty important... Let me put this down here so it doesn't blend in with our living quarters note. Exhaustion is a feature that players can get if they end up in a situation where they are overexerting themselves, say when they're swimming, or if they're freezing cold, or if any situation arises where they did not get an adequate amount of rest. And there are up to 6 levels of exhaustion, with each one having different debilitating effects. For example, if you take 1 level of exhaustion, your first level means that you have disadvantage on all of your ability checks. And this includes things like skills and tools and things like that, which means that it's bad. That's pretty bad, but it's not the worst thing in the world. You can get rid of a level of exhaustion if you just take a long rest, which is 8 hours of sleep, with food and drink in order to get your strengths back. And then in future levels, you get everything in the previous level plus other bad things. Like level 2, your movement speed gets cut in half because you're so exhausted. And then furthermore, you get disadvantage on strength, on saving throws and attack rolls. And then you get it gets worse and worse until at the very end, at the 6th level, if you manage to overexert yourselves and gain 6 levels of exhaustion, you die. You just straight up die of exhaustion. Your body just can't go on anymore. And so in this scenario, it's a good opportunity to give the players the choice to experience what exhaustion feels like in a controlled environment, because this is unless the players do something really crazy like refusing to sleep, it's very difficult for them to gain more levels of exhaustion. And so it's a fairly easy choice, a fairly straightforward pick to get 1 level of exhaustion. They could do this and then just go back to town and sleep that day, and then they'll get rid of it. But at least they'll have had some firsthand experience of what exhaustion is, even if it doesn't apply much to it. Similar to how we handle the poisoned condition with these graves. They get poisoned for a minute, which doesn't matter. Like, the fact that you got poisoned for 1 minute probably will not make or break your adventuring that day, because you're probably not making attack rolls or ability checks within those 60 seconds of game time. So that was the first thing I wanted to do. I wanted to just make this thing a little bit more easier for the players, so that if you had like a bad strength check, you just don't get locked out of mining. It's based on a time, and it also gives players a reason to hire a mining team. So, you could hire a mining team. You could hire 6 miners, and they can clear out this mining operation in 1 full day, and that gives the players the opportunity to spend that day adventuring, where they would normally have to dedicate a day to mining things themselves. The second thing I wanted to talk about is this goblin thing, and I wanted to take this opportunity to talk about languages. When your players create their characters, they'll usually determine a number of languages that character knows. Usually it's common plus a bunch of other languages, depending on their race or whatever other abilities they had. And so you can use that you can demonstrate the discrepancies between languages in any social encounter that has races that are not common. And I'm going to continue this debate this discussion in a little second, because I'm getting notifications about my stream. I'm having issues with my internet recently. I'm sure anyone who might have been watching the the Magic the Gathering stream might have seen it. And I'm trying to reduce my resolution to reduce the number of dropped frames, at least until I can resolve the internet issues. It looks like it stopped. It stopped a little while ago, so hopefully it's not a big deal. But please get back to me if anyone's checking it out and you're getting dropped frames and stuff is buffering. Please let me know. I'm trying to figure out what are the best settings in order to make sure I can best handle the crazy low speeds that I'm dealing with right now. But okay, it looks like we're not having terrible issues right now, so I'm just gonna keep going. So whenever you're going into a dungeon or like an exotic location where you might find races that are not common in the surface world, and I say common explicitly because that's the language that almost everyone typically learns, you may encounter creatures that don't know common and only know the native languages of their race or their race's natural allies. So in this scenario, let's go ahead and say that this goblin, for example, may not be in the surface world, may not be familiar with the surface world. They live in this dungeon and have not seen the light of day for quite a while. So we're gonna say this goblin only knows the goblin language. Now, it doesn't mean you cannot communicate with it. It just means that you are restricted to sort of using body language and other visual cues instead of just talking to it normally. And your ability to communicate is limited. So to demonstrate that, I'm going to mention that for this contest, if you want the goblin to stop fleeing, you get disadvantage if the character if it's a player character rather, trying to stop the goblin doesn't know the goblin language. And this helps give a demonstration of, how the language will apply. And especially since we're going to be going into our second floor, where we're doing quite a bit more combat with probably these goblins, like a goblin colony or whatever. If you are in an adventuring team that wants to like negotiate or try to handle things diplomatically, let's say they kind of push away the combat side of it, at least to some degree, and want to use diplomacy, it's important to show them, how those social interactions work and how knowing or not knowing a language will impact them. So just adding that to our list, we get the tweaks that I wanted to add. Aside from that, I just padded out the rest of the dungeon with some proper floor, proper dirt stone floor, and we're ready to continue. So let's go ahead and switch to our floor 2. And let's go ahead and start with a floor plan. Or before we even do the floor plan, we're gonna go ahead and go back to our mechanics here so that we can talk about what we want to introduce in this floor. So we have our mechanics in terms of proficiency with armor. We're gonna cover this very well when it comes to the combat, because I plan to have to give you an example, let's have a room with a lot of heavy armor, and this can sort of entice players that might not be proficient with heavy armor to take it, and then you can explain like why they might not want to do that. Travel pace and time, we're still gonna skip this for now. I'm planning on covering this when the players get far enough down into the dungeon where going back and forth between all the floors of the dungeon is sort of an adventure in itself, and it's kind of like overworld travel in that way. Going from the surface world to the second floor of a dungeon is very straightforward. Going from the surface world to the 10th floor of the dungeon warrants the consideration of your travel pace. Character maintenance, food, water, rest, short rest versus long resting versus downtime. This will be covered during combat because your characters are probably going to have time to rest and want to heal themselves. Environmental hazards, we kind of covered this with falling. We're going to see if we can cover some of these as well. I plan to have a little bit when it comes to ocean combat, water combat. That'll be kind of cool if we could try to implement that. And then social interactions, which we're kind of already looking at. This may take a backseat to combat. It depends on how your players want to handle the enemies that are going to be on the next floor. And then we have combat, which is sort of the big crux of our second floor. And I'm going to try to take our combat. I'm going to try to break it down into a bunch of rules that we want to focus on, because even in terms of combat, there's a lot of phases and a lot of nuances to combat that is going to be hard to cover in a single floor. So we're going to look at the rules. Again, we're using the D&D basic rules. It's in the 2018. You can look it up on Google. Wizards of the Coast printed a basic rule set for D&D. There's a 2018 version. Very easy to find and free to take. And we're using that as the basis for our description of combat rules. So, going through the list of combat, we have the aspect of turn order, as well as prize, which is a sort of also an introduction into conditions. And then we'll do turn actions. And turn actions, it's hard to give like a neat acronym for them, but I like to break down a turn into 5 different actions you can do. There is the action, the main action like attacking or casting a spell, etc. There is movement, up to your speed in any combination or in any with whatever actions in between. And that's important because that means that you can move a little bit and then you can do your action and you can move a little bit more and then you can do your interactions and bonus actions and other cool things you can do, and then you can finish your movement. The important thing is that during your turn, your total movement doesn't exceed your appropriate speed. And then there is, of course, the different speed types, which probably not going to cover yet. You might only want to cover this unless a PC can fly or swim. If one of your player characters decided, I want to be I forget what they're called, like Arakora. Not the best at pronunciations. But if your player characters start with a flying speed, or if your characters are, what are they called, like a Naga or a Merfolk, they may start with a swimming speed, at which point it might be kind of important to talk about this, but we're probably not going to cover it with our goblins. Then there is what I'm going to call the bonus action, which is sort of a little extra that your character can do based on special powers. And this is based on the player character's chosen class and their special features and things like that. Most of the time, there isn't like a bonus action that you can inherently do. Most of the time, there's a special ability that you can do. For example, if I actually switch back to our first floor and look through our goblin's stat sheet, we can see that he has this ability called Nimble Escape. The goblin can take the disengage or hide action as a bonus action on, I believe it's each of his turns. Yeah. So the goblin has a special feature that allows it to perform this as a bonus action. And we're going to talk about what these actions mean later. But inherently, you don't get these abilities unless a class feature says you do. So, back to Notepad. Little extra your character can do. Then you have what I want to call the interaction, which is interacting with the world in a small way, like drawing a weapon, opening a door, etc. Not using an item like a potion. Typically, these items are actions, which is important because a lot of people sometimes when they're new will see interactions and they'll say, oh, I can interact with an item, I can interact with like a potion that I can use to heal myself, or like alchemist's fire, like a little like fire bomb you can throw. Usually if you have a special item that allows you to do something cool, the item will tell you what kind of action it is. And usually for things like a potion, it is an action to take it and drink it. But there might be other things that that can be bonus actions, like opening a door, opening a chest. Sometimes those are action. Those are bonus actions. And then the final kind of action is a reaction. Something you do once outside of your turn. Once per round, like opportunity attacks, etc. And so this basically just means that you can once during the round, a round being like a full round of combat between the end of your turn and the start of your next turn, you can sort of trigger something. In some certain scenario, something special happens that your character can react to, you can use a reaction. Sometimes there are inherent reactions you can do, like opportunity attacks, which we'll cover. In fact, I'm gonna mention opportunity attacks as a point of note, because that's important to know. As well as there might be class features that will allow you to use reactions. As an example, if a wizard, and this is sort of later when people have leveled up a lot and gained new class features, if a wizard comes up and learns the counter spells, they can just, cast their classic blue spell, boom! That spell you were casting, it doesn't happen, screw you. No spells. That's a reaction, because that's an opportunity that is a reaction to someone else's thing, and you are performing an action sort of on their turn. That's a reaction, you get one of those. And I'm actually going to put these in quotation marks because the reaction part, the once per round, is important. If you, for example, spend your reaction to counterspell someone, you can't then also use an opportunity attack or some other reaction. You have to wait until the start of your next turn before you can use your reaction again. And reactions, again, are things you typically only do during someone else's turn. There are some scenarios where you might use your reaction on your turn. Like if someone casts a spell on your turn, you can counterspell it if you want to use your reaction that quickly. But typically, that is not typically you do a reaction on someone else's turn. Okay, then we talk about opportunity attacks, which is just an important thing to talk about. We've talked about movement. We've already covered difficult terrain. There is the idea of I'm going to say common combat conditions, which sort of ties into our surprise. So surprise, there's also commonly prone, there's also commonly grappled, and etc. When we have an opportunity, we could perhaps do a floor or a lesson on all different conditions that are common in the D&D rules, and maybe add to this repertoire. But I'm going to focus on these three for now: surprise, prone, and grappled. Excuse me. So combat conditions are pretty common and pretty important to learn. What else do we have? Oh yeah, and the different, yes. And I think the last thing we're going to cover is different common actions. This includes many things. This includes attack, cast a spell. There's so many of these, so I'm just going to try to list them all. And we're going to see how many of them we can demonstrate. So, obviously you can't force a player to perform an action to demonstrate what happens. So what we're going to try to do is we're going to either engineer scenarios where it just makes a lot of sense for a character to perform an action. There's one way to do it. But what I want to try to do instead is to craft encounters, a combat encounter, where the enemies will be using these kinds of common actions. When the enemy uses those actions, it is both an interesting way to make the encounter more dynamic, because you can set up a sort of team dynamic that the players can then understand and furthermore exploit. And I'll show you some examples that I had been brainstorming in between last week and this week. But it also helps demonstrate to the players the kind of things like, look, these enemies are doing these special actions that give them these special powers. These are things that you can also do when you find it appropriate. So we're going to do attack, we're going to do attack, we're going to do cast a spell. We have dash. We have disengage. We have dodge. We have help. What else do we have? We have hide. And we have ready. We have also search. And finally, we have use an object, which is usually what I'm talking about when you're interacting with something that is significant enough to use up this full action, like drinking a potion. And that would be the majority of attacks that we're looking at here. And there's nature to a lot of these, but we're gonna focus on these. And now we can sort of move on to other topics. Again, there's a lot to cover when it comes to combat, and so we're probably only gonna cover some portions of this in our second floor and continue to expand as we go deeper. Hopefully the goal is by the end of the 5th floor, which is where we're probably going to be placing our first like sort of boss encounter, to have had the opportunity to demonstrate nearly everything that is in the core rules. And then after that, we can start going buck wild on all the special rules on things like stealth or underwater combat or mounts and things like that. And of course, some of these special rules might apply based on your party. If you have like a party of rogues, they might want to learn about stealth more quickly. They might want to learn about the finer details of social interactions more quickly. So a lot of what we're doing here is just based on a general guideline, which you should expect to change drastically depending on the party that you are running for. So the other kind of actions that or the other kind of features of combat we're going to be wanting to focus on, let me get back to that rule set, is cover. Let's also talk about damage. Accuracy or attack rolls versus damage rolls. That's a common one that kind of trips up some players sometimes. And also we can talk about critical hits and misses, which is a pretty straightforward rule, but we can demonstrate that. And this is very easy to do if you are a DM and can fudge dice. Because a lot of people will talk about whether or not it's fair to fudge dice. You should totally fudge dice when it comes to teaching rules or demonstrating special features. Just don't do it in a way that, of course, is super unfair and like is very punishing. A lot of that will come sort of with experience on what is important. Oh yeah, right. Then there's also resistance and vulnerabilities and immunities, which also ties into the damage types, which is commonly going to be slashing, piercing, bludgeoning, and various types of magic damage. Let's see. Right. There's also, of course, the bad thing, the bad juju. Dying and death saving throws. And this one, I would not try to force on the players, at least not this early, unless you really want to scare them. But it's a good idea to bring that up again with the player, the monsters that you're dealing with. And I can I'll try to give some examples on how that can work. But we're just going down the list. I think this is everything. Okay, there's also sections for mounted combat and underwater combat. We're gonna ignore that for now. I'll write them down, but we're gonna super not cover them. Killing versus, or rather, I'll say lethal versus non-lethal damage. And then mounted and underwater combat. We're gonna ignore this for now. So, we're just throwing in a bunch of extra stuff that we're talking about. And we're gonna create our world, we're gonna create our floor, and add a bunch of goblins and other manner of monster. We're gonna design some encounters. We're gonna see what kind of rules, what kind of mechanics we're gonna be able to introduce. We're also gonna pick a new theme right now. I'm also gonna put this and the hidden condition, which I'll also add to our combat conditions. Hidden. Let's see, what am I doing right now? Okay, we're talking about new themes. So if our theme before was sort of basic catacombs, burial ground, and we got a mining shaft, we can spend a little bit of time thinking about what theme do we want for our second floor. I was thinking we should have something that ties into a sort of civilization aspect, which will help us tie into sort of this world of goblins and maybe give us a backdrop into what will eventually be our first boss in the 5th floor. So, based on that, we're going to go ahead and do sort of a kind of underground colony or camp, let's say that, with I'm gonna say a little pond. And I'm gonna explain why we're adding the pond here. Is because between streams, I did a little bit of research on, the kind of creatures we could add for potential combat encounters. And I came across one creature that I thought was pretty interesting to add. It wasn't too tough, very easy for you to take straight out of the monster manual. And it will help us describe some of these conditions, particularly the grappled condition. And so we're going to do a sort of underground camp with a little pond and maybe lots of cover for stealth and such, if your players want to go with a stealthy route, but it's definitely not necessary. All right, we have a plan. Let's go ahead and make our stuff. So what are we going to do? So if we look at our first floor, we have the players entering at around this stage. So they're going to be coming in from the bottom right in this area. So stairs like that. And we want a sort of underground camp. But I want to make sure that there's plenty of cover that our players can use. So I don't want a wide open area because that's going to super force combat like right away. And I don't quite want that yet. I want to give my players a little bit of choice. So what we're going to do is we're going to start with an open area. Right? And this will sort of dive into a series of tunnels. Something like this. And maybe it'll continue to branch out. And we're gonna have a sort of four corners situation here. Something like this. And then this is gonna branch out quite a bit, actually. This will branch out a bit more. And we're just sort of spitballing here. Almost like a heartbeat is what we're looking at here. We're gonna have another open area here. And then we're gonna kind of have a... We're gonna have a sort of center in this area that'll be sort of a heart of the camp. So something like this, and then this will be like that. We'll have another open area here. There's a few series of interesting larger rooms that will serve purposes in this underground city. And this will sort of become its own thing like so. Yeah, let's do that. And the room is going to be something like this, our sort of center room. And it's going to be like a little divot. Let's see, what else? We're going to do something like, we're going to do a split here into two different rooms. Yes, I kind of like this. Let me go ahead and erase that. I didn't want to do that. Erase. This dotted thing is kind of weird. Let's go ahead and get rid of that. We'll figure out the openings later. There you go. Then we'll have a winding path on this side that will lead to the next set of stairs. So something like this. Now obviously this is really narrow. Let's get our pal the goblin out. Whoops. Didn't want to do that. Thank you, Mr. Goblin. And we're just gonna bring this guy in, and we're gonna make a medium size just for reference. So you can see that this guy's kind of really squeezing in. I'm thinking this thing should probably be twice as big on each side. We're gonna do quite a larger area. So let's go ahead and set our width to 50 by 50. And then I'm gonna set you away, and we're gonna take our big blueprint and we're just gonna go ahead and just stretch it. Oops. There we go. Oh, let's also update our grid so it's gonna be easier to see when we I'll do that later once I add the floors. And this seems much more spacious. All right, I like this. Okay. So now let's go ahead and start actually creating a floor plan. So we're gonna go ahead and look for a good floor that we're going to use in this dungeon. You can either use the exact same floors that we used in the previous dungeon, or depending on the nature of the environment, you can choose something that's a little different. What I'm gonna do is I'm going to do something very similar, but I'm going to make it a bit more stony. A bit more stony while keeping it sort of natural. Let's see. That's wood. I don't want wood. And those are bricks. All right, let's go back up. Yeah, what did we have before? We had something that's like a bit more like dirt, right? Yeah. So we're gonna keep things a bit more road. We're gonna do a rock tile, like so. Let's put you in our map layer. And we're gonna raise you a little bit. Let's make you a 5 by 5. How's that? Okay, perfect. And we're just gonna fill this up. And before, where I just filled up whatever I had before, I'm gonna go ahead and just fill up the entire thing. Now we had 50 by 50, and these are 5 by 5, so we're expecting to use 10 of these tiles on each row by 10, so it's 100 tiles. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna copy all this, do a quick paste, and just put these over. We're respectable artists. We copy paste. Wait, this is a little off. Did I do this right? Yeah, I did. I just... If you don't paste in the right spot, you're gonna miss a few things, so just fix that. This is 4. I'm going to do a big 4 copy. Let's try to hit the center. All right, that looks pretty good. Boom. And then we're just gonna do 1 row at a time here. And 1 more row. And we'll have to align this one more carefully. And again, like, this isn't gonna be masterwork quality. We're doing a lot of just repeating textures here because we want to make a map that's pretty quick, that demonstrates what we want. We're not trying to be the next Michelangelo here. All right, goodbye, Goblin. We're gonna not have you for now. And now we're just gonna try to make a floor plan. Now that we have our bricks as well, I'm gonna go ahead and update our grid so it's a bit easier to see. Our opacity should be much better, and our color is gonna be pure white. There we go. That matches this floor, right? Oh, this floor I turned off the grid. Let me turn that back on. Yep, pure white. Great. So we'll keep things a little bit consistent so we can easily see where our grids lie. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to write a few notes on what we want. Right. So we have, just looking at what we have major hallway. Add lots of little divots for stealth and immersion. Because it shouldn't be super even. That's just unrealistic. Okay. And we can start assigning roles to each of these. And what I want is I want to introduce some variations of creatures early. So we're gonna try to have some interesting rooms early on to add some variety, and then in our later rooms we'll try to add some of the more narrative reward based rooms. So what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna do a lake with giant crabs, and that will sort of be our other monster aside from the goblins that will make the that will add something new to the dungeon. We're just gonna make some notes on that. We're gonna go ahead and of course add more details to it later. And then on this side, we have 2 different sections. I'm gonna call these the, these are gonna be our sleeping quarters. So, sleeping quarters. I'm gonna say the common goblins. And then we're gonna have a sleeping quarters for the boss goblin. Because it's gonna be a boss goblin. We're gonna have some cool stuff there. Okay, give her major hallway. All right, we still want to add some stuff for these. These are gonna be, I think, sort of our reward rooms. We're going to do, again, if you look at our list of items or mechanics to introduce, I'm gonna go ahead and I am going to add a few interesting things here. Where's my text? I can't believe I lost track of it. Where is it? There it is. So this is going to be the armory. It's going to have lots of heavy armor and shields for the boss. And I'm also going to include a few potions that involve special damage and healing. And this will help us to demonstrate the sort of use an object action. It'll demonstrate how healing works, and maybe you use these in a short rest. Also, the special damage will help give us an understanding of things like special resistances, vulnerabilities, and immunities and stuff. So we're going to put that in there. And then we're going to put a sort of, proper treasure room here. And then we're going to have a sort of central camp with the boss goblin. Oh, I realized that you can't really see much because my notepad's in the way. Sorry about that. Boss goblin. And then I want to add a watchtower here, which is going to help make the stealth aspect interesting if players want to go in the stealthy approach, and also demonstrate things like the search action, the help action, and I'll explain how that works later. And then we can add more details to it later. And then we got our exit stairs. And then you know what? I think maybe we should add a secret here, because we got room, we might as well. So I'm going to go ahead and just draw like a little extra here. Nice. And it's going to be very unnatural because it's meant to be a man-made room. So it's just very square. And we're going to go ahead and add that secret room. And I don't know what's going to be in the secret room. We're going to find out together. Before I continue, I'm going to do a double check to see how my chats are working. I haven't gotten any messages on the on Streamlabs, and I want to double check to make sure that's not me being dumb with my Streamlabs settings, and instead making sure it's just because there isn't actually any chat, which is okay. If anyone happens to be lurking, I'm not trying to force you to chat. I'm just double checking some stream stuff because it's still a learning process. Nothing on the YouTube, so I think we're okay. Just, double, triple check. Yeah, we're fine. Okay, cool. All right. So we have a basic floor plan. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to start adding walls in order to sort of make the floor plan come to life. All right. Oh, actually, we haven't said anything about our starting room. So our starting room is definitely going to be important. So this is going to be a sort of mining station, collecting stuff from the above floor, which means lots of crates and cover and some goblin guards. Goblin guards. Perfect. So now we get a better idea of what this room is supposed to be. All right. All right. So we could use the same dungeon walls as before, but I'm going to see if we have anything that's more interesting. Again, you can see on the bottom, I'm going to be using a lot of map art that it was gracefully provided, not personally, but just open source, essentially, free from Forgotten Adventures. Their website should be in the description. If you like the little assets you see, you can always go to their site. And everything you're seeing right now as far as actual art goes is free for the maps. For tokens, I'm I hope to provide more details in future descriptions, but I'm probably going to be using some open source websites like royalty free, like Flickr and things like that, to just grab some easy things. I'm focusing less on the actual art of the tokens and creatures and more on the map itself, since a lot of this stuff can be interchangeable. Okay, here's our structures. Where's our walls? Walls and curves. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. All right, I loaded a lot of images, and it's giving me a bit of grief when it came to... There we go, okay. We don't need all that. Let's see. Yeah, let's try doing a wall stone search. I'm gonna take a quick drink break while I wait for my little images to load. All right, there we go. Perfect. Let's see what we can do with this. A lot of stuff in sandstone, but I kind of just want normal stone, so let's just keep going. Ooh, earthy. Stone metal, earthy. This is good. Okay, so if I filter myself to stone earthy, maybe I'll get a more filtered list. And as I get more familiar with the map asset list, it'll probably be easier to just understand exactly what I want. But yeah, this looks good. I'm liking this. It's not as rough as the floor above, which is sort of what I'm aiming for. Let's go ahead and just add some of these walls in. We're gonna want some curves, but I'm probably going to just take a straight wall and create my own curves. What the? Oh, it's because I'm in the GM layer. Let's get back to the map. There we go. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna grab a few pieces that I think I'm going to want, and then we'll see how I use them. I might not use all of these, but and a connector. That seems good. And I might use this corner. Okay, let's work with this art list for now. First, I'm gonna make this a bit bigger. And again, just like before, we're not gonna be married to our stony, to our little architecture here. So it's okay if we kind of just not follow the black outline perfectly. That's too big. Let's shrink that a little bit. I'm gonna need a few of these. I'm just gonna take a bunch. And I'm gonna see if I can use this in a kind of interesting way. Too big. Let's shrink that. I need another wall first. Tilt it a little bit more, like so. Okay, this is gonna be great. I'm gonna use this again, actually, and reverse it. There we go. Oop. And now we're just sort of hitting the vibing stage. Let me make sure I keep one of these set up as well as this one. Perfect. Oops. We're doing something a bit more narrow. All right, we're gonna get these curves in. Excellent. Okay, let's take our tools, just move them ahead. We're kind of done with this room. We're moving on to the next one. This one's gonna be, I think, full of curves. This is gonna be like all curves, man. Yeah, I kind of like this setup. Ooh, this does not quite reach. Let's... Yeah, that doesn't quite reach, but that's okay. That is what our handy dandy... Let's put this a bit closer to here. Yeah, like that. Get a bit closer. That's what our handy connector is for. Oops. So we're gonna take one of these and just fill in that gap. And I'm gonna put this in the back and then put our thing to the... Whoops, that's not what I wanted. Oh, shoot. Ah! The back. There you go. There you go. Perfect. That's what I wanted. We got there. Okay. This one looks like it's going to be corners on this side. Oops, pardon me. Okay. Gotta be a little careful about it. There's a lot of white space in these map assets, which makes it still very effective, but not the most intuitive to move. Yeah, I gotta take this. I gotta take this and move to the front. That way this takes priority over this super big curve. There we go. Perfect. And then I'm probably going to add another corner here. There's gonna be a lot of corners in this one. Yeah, like that. And then we're gonna add another connector to this. Perfect. All right, let's get a straightaway in here. This one's a little crooked. We'll do something like that. And then we're gonna add some more corners. Probably some more connectors go in here. Or I can be a little cheeky and just stretch this a little bit and tweak the angle just a little bit. Yeah, that'll work. But I'll add a connector to this one. Pardon me. That's too small. That's way too small. That's too big. There you go, that looks good. Okay. This one's gonna look pretty similar too, but I'm gonna see if I can use... Let's see. Yeah, I'm gonna see if I can use more straightaways in this one instead of doing a lot of corners. Just to make things a little bit faster. Nah, that's dumb. We're gonna use corners. We got them, let's use them. They look gorgeous too, so why not? We're gonna betray the blueprint just a little bit. That's too narrow. There we go. Something like that. This needs to be shrunk a bit. This is a little misaligned, but I don't like keeping this thing so narrow. So you know what? I'm gonna shrink this in general. Let's shrink this a bit. That way these are a bit on the same level. There you go. That's way better. And what we want to do is we want to add divots. Let's remember that we want to add divots for our stealth and the immersion here. So after I'm done with these, we're going to be tweaking these walls just a little bit in order to provide that tool. So for this one, I'm actually going to start using these T-blocks for our sort of edge cases. And this seems too big. Yeah, it's too big. Let's shrink that a little bit. Yeah, something like this will be good. Then we can get a straightaway. Let me get this back to original size. And get a straightaway in here. Hell yeah. And I think it's just gonna all be curves from here. It's gonna be a bit of a smaller room. And we'll maybe make the curves a little jagged. Yeah, something like this. I kind of like the continuous pattern here. Yeah, I kind of like this pattern. Yeah, I like this pattern. I'm gonna keep it. And we're gonna tweak our treasure room a little bit to account for this. I think here is where I'll deviate. Oops. And let's remember to add a wall to our edges so that it doesn't look like our players can kind of go like past this section. So let me go ahead and add some walls to that now. Oh man, what happened to that section? Get back in here. There you go. Oh. Okay. Do I have that in this? Yeah, I have that in that floor. So, okay, we're good there. And let's repeat this in our treasure room. Just so we don't forget. Okay, and then finally we'll repeat that in our sort of living quarters. Okay. All right, so going back to this room, so I'm gonna fill up this bottom floor first. There's a little slant here, which I really want. I'm gonna put a T block here. What I'm gonna try to do starting now is start seeing where I can incorporate more T blocks, which can act as places of cover for people who are interested in the stealthy approach. So adding a divot here for cover, I think is going to be very neat. And I'm just gonna have an eye, I'm just gonna keep an eye out for when it feels like it makes sense to do that. This is where, what is this place again? Oh, where's my, this was the lake. What was this? What was this? Wait, did I not write a note for this one? I had the lake, the armory, the central camp, major hallway, sleeping quarters, the secret room and exit, a treasure room. What was in here? Oh, geez. What was in here? All right, we'll fill it in later because I forgot what it was. Okay, add some curves. be like maybe 3 more straightaways on this side. Actually, this can probably just be a curve. And then we're going to do another curve here. And this is super narrow, so I'm going to make that a bit wider in this instance, like this. I might actually put some more space in. There you go. Oh, this is a definite spot for T-block. Why is this huge? There we go. Oop. Do I want a corner here? No, it's, whoops, that's too narrow. Let's just get some straightaways back in. There could be a divot here. Let's put one in. Then we can corner this. Nice. I'm feeling it. Put this in the front. There you go. And this brings us very close to our lake section, where I should maybe consider looking for some water and other appropriate lake assets. So it's not just rocks all the time. I'm going to mostly use straightaways for this because I want a very soft, gentle curve. We'll use a normal curve for this section. I'm gonna put a divot here. I don't think this divot's ever gonna matter, but having something here is kind of neat. Although I kind of want it to look uneven. So you know what? I'm gonna actually put, instead of a divot, I'm gonna put 2 corners here. So it'll kind of look like a divot, but it'll have some unnatural essence to it. Excuse me. Like this, and then there you go. And then I think I want another corner here. Do I want another corner here? Let's see. Yeah, another corner here is perfect. Then we do a corner here. Where's my connector? Okay, it's still there. There we go. Use our straightaways again. And here, I'm going to use a divot. I'm going to stretch it just a little bit. There you go. I'm gonna extend it just a little bit too. Something like... actually, I don't like that. This divot's in a very weird place because it's not very clear where the stealth goes, since this square is so blocked. So if I were to shorten this a bit, do something like this. Oh, you know what? If I do this, it's pretty clear where the stealth aspect comes from both sides. Then I can use a connector to fill in this gap. Front and to front. Perfect. All right, so we've got most of our map done. We still need to finish this section. A quick drink break. And we still need to actually do some of the other features of the rooms. Right now we're just doing walls. Guys back in. Oh, that's not what I wanted. There we go. I'm gonna put them here. I'm gonna cover a lot of the room that we want. I want a divot there, I think. Yeah, that'll work. And I'll cover these gaps right now. Yeah, that's fine. We're gonna do some concave nonsense here. A lot of inside curves. It's gonna be like this. And I'm probably gonna do corners. Whoops. I wanted to copy the corner. There we go. That just looks weird. But I am into it. This needs to go to the front. There you go. And this has some neat, like, divot-like properties. Okay. We don't need this section. This could be fine here. So let's just add some straightaways and corners and have that be good. This straightaway can be smaller because we're going to have more corners. And I need to make sure I actually copy this. There we go. Now you can shrink. Okay, need that. And I don't really need the corners here because it's going to become a curve. I can kind of ignore this line. So here we go. Bing. There we go. Now let's finish off our sleeping quarters. Bring these guys in. Excuse me. And we're going to... Yes. Oops. I think we'll need two more of these. I'm gonna make a pattern that's sort of similar to what we have with the armory. Can we add a corner here just for fun? Ah, it's not enough. Maybe I'll just add... Ooh. Maybe we'll just add straightaways to this. I did not get the full rest I was hoping for. My voice is not at 100% right now. That's okay. This is chill. There we go. Let's put this a bit... no, this thing needs to be a bit shorter. There you go. Okay. Now this is definitely going to be a divot here. And I'm going to make this a bit smaller, I think. Because I want an obvious passageway. So I'm going to shrink this. There you go. Veer a little bit into the boss's room because I want the boss to have like a clearly like unfair, like, you know, the boss gets all this room to just the boss. That'll be a neat narrative. So whenever I'm choosing, I'm going to try to give the common goblins less sleeping room and the boss goblin a little bit more sleeping room. Okay, that'll finish off the sleeping quarters, at least for walls. Again, all this stuff still needs to be kind of like furnished. I'm gonna do another straightaway, and then that should transition to curves pretty nicely. Oh, it does not fully transition to curves. Curve is rather soft, so I'll just keep using straightaways. Do not fix what is not broken. Nice big long chunks of stone. And I'll probably curve it out here. Get our quick move. So get my pieces back in. I don't need these many curves, but I'm gonna make more curves soon anyway, so. I'm making this ending area a bit smaller. It really is just a passageway to get to the stairs. It doesn't need to be that expansive. And maybe that'll give you more room for the central camp if I want to expand that area later, which I might. And there's gonna be another soft curve back. And that's definitely becoming a corner. And I kind of want a divot here, just for fun. We're gonna curve this one out. Yeah. I'm gonna try to give myself some extra space in the central camp. Let's do that. Am I not copying right? Copy paste. Oh, there it is. This took a while. smaller, but still a little pocket that we can add something cool to it later. Whoops. Okay, and then we can straight away here and finish off our treasure room. Let's bring these guys in. Oop. Ah, they're killing me. There we go. Could I add a divot here? Sure. Adding a divot here might be nice. In case, like, for example, if the adventurers come in here and there are goblins that see them, they might use this to hide and ambush as the players turn the corner. We're gonna want an actual corner here. Okay, and we'll add our final connector to bring this all together. This needs to be a bit bigger. Perfect. All right, we have a proper floor plan. Nice, nice, nice. All right, I'm gonna start thinking about how we're gonna populate all this stuff. We're gonna take a quick break. And we'll be back in about 15 to decide how we're gonna populate everything as far as like furnitures and water and cool junk like that. After that, we talk about the encounters we're gonna put in to introduce all those extra rules. And then that'll be the majority of the dungeon. Maybe we'll add treasure and all that stuff later. Catch you guys in a little bit. Hello, I am back. I hope we had a good time. Oh. I'm not showing up. There we go. Finally loaded. All right. Nice break. Had some thought in what we're going to be doing for these rooms as far as furnishings and stuff go. I also put some thought into this room, which was mysteriously unnamed and not given really any details. But no, we got strats. We got solutions for this. Let me go ahead and just write it down before I forget again. So for this one, I'm hoping to do something to help go over like the livelihood of the goblins. So it might be like a food recreational area. I think what we're gonna do is we're gonna have prisons for crabs to eat. Nom 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 nom. And this will help, explain things like, how do these goblins live here? Like, what do they eat? They eat the crabs. And it's gonna lean into some interesting dynamics that you might have when you are seeing how goblins treat the crabs and vice versa. Let's put this in the GM layer. Okay, so then we're gonna go ahead and start furnishing everything here. So the first thing I want to do is I just want to go room by room. We have our mining station. We want lots of crates and covers, so I'm just gonna find some crates. Start plopping those down. Let's see. I want some old crates. Is there like an old crate that I can use? They're like broken crates that I can use. I want the goblins to have kind of bad junk. Nope, I'm just looking through crates. Yes, okay. There was at least one. Okay, there's some open crates. Let's do this. Get an open crate in here. What else could we take? Take one of these. These crates that are open. We'll put a few of them in. So we'll just put them. Maybe this a bit bigger. Bigger. Nice. There we go. Oop. No. There we go. And there you go. We also, of course, need the stairs. Come on, give us some stairs. There you go. So we had some corner stairs going wide in the floor previous, so I'm kind of hoping to try to find similar stairs in this scenario. Thought I found them. Yeah, let's specify a corner here. Corner. Yes, so it was widening a bit. So let's put this here. Oh, looks like it's taking a bit of time to load. There we go. Okay, that's not, I don't want that. No, I'm not trying to rename anything. Oh, roll 20. You slow thing, you. All right, let's try that again. There's corner. Give me what I want. There you go. Let's put this a bit further. And we're going to try to find something like this. Get a little bit closer, a little bit more granular. There we go. Oh, these look like I'm going up, actually. should be like this, actually. Ah. Yeah, the shadows are off. Can I get better stairs than this? Yeah, this is what I want. I want this. And then we'll just do a platform here. There we go. And we're gonna take this and that and this and that. We're gonna move this 1 square down. We're gonna take these, we're gonna put these in the front. Perfect. We're gonna take these and rotate them, since the shadows should be going in the opposite direction. It looks so good. So happy about that. Okay. We've got our stairs, we've got our cover, and I'm gonna find those purple crystals. I'm gonna put a little bit in here just to tell the story of how those crystals are actually being mined by the goblins bit by bit and being taken here. Let's add a little bit of you. Let's shrink you a little bit. Let's shrink you a little more. Like that. And we'll do that. That's the same. I bet there is a way to flip it. Thank you. There you go. Just a little bit. We're gonna take this, actually, we're gonna take these, we're gonna move this crate a little bit more this way, put more crates. Like this. So at least they have a path if they want to go through. And what I'm gonna do now is I'm actually gonna add the creatures. Get some goblins in here. And I found some new assets that I want to use for the goblins. I found it on Flickr. Nice royalty-free appreciations to all the artists there. We're just gonna throw that in. That's a big boy. In fact, I actually think I already changed the art here, didn't I? I did. I'm actually going to take this one because this one has all the creature stats in it. So I can just put it here. Okay. Goodbye. I'm going to put 2 goblins here, sort of mulling over the treasure. And we could start them here. But depending on the situation, if, say, the goblin from the first floor ran down and maybe warned these goblins, they may be on a more high alert. But we're going to do that. So these guys can actually make their way past if they're sneaky. Or they can just, like, you know, take them by surprise. Let's actually put these goblins here on opposite sides. How does this feel? I'm just trying to think about how their vision would actually be affected. No, I think it's better if they're just next to each other here. Because there's critically this sort of this sort of vision that is blocked by both the crate and the corner that you can maybe crouch and go under and then jump past, or just kind of make your way around, or even distract them in whatever ways. Your players will be very creative in how they want to sneak past something if they really want to. So you can leave that to the player's imagination as long as you're open to things that they suggest. Put this here, make sure there's a very obvious gap here. We're gonna put one goblin here who's patrolling. So this goblin would patrol. This goblin would probably guard the boss's room. And then there will be, I'm gonna get all the goblins out of the way now. Here, let's say there's a goblin that's gonna be here with the crabs. And then there'll be some goblins here that I'll fill in when we start furnishing that. Okay, well, we got our stuff here. Basic stuff. What else can we add? We can add some other tools. Let's add some torches. Let's see. Now, what's worth noting is that goblins have dark vision. And one thing you can do with a token, if it's shedding light, you can actually add a tint. Oh, wait, no, not there. It's an aura that you'll want to add to help go over how good that light is. A torch sheds bright light in 20 feet and then sheds dim light. Let's go ahead and do this and then this for another 40. So you can see here, putting a torch here using standard torches in D&D gives you an idea of how well lit the area is. And even though goblins have dark vision, that means that the darkness in this area would be dim light for them, which is still not the best vision to see in. But this also means that you can clearly see them because they're in the bright light. So we're also going to mess with light sources here. And I believe if you just set these to like a map layer. Is it the map layer? Yeah, if you set them to the map layer, you can hide their aura. But I'm going to put them in token layer so we can see. And okay, we have that. What else can we do? We're gonna go ahead and add some pebbles at the bottom of the stairs and maybe a single crystal. Oh, whoops. I should be back in the map layer now. There you go. And I'm gonna do a purple crystal. Actually, I'm not going to do it here. Because we already have some purple crystals in the first floor. And if the players get those crystals, then they have that sort of reward in terms of having that tool later if they want to use it for a distraction or even as a negotiating tactic. If one of them knows goblins and thinks that they have like a solid persuasion. So the pebbles are here. They can use those. They got cover. They have this torch for knowledge. Maybe they can use that to their advantage. All right. Moving on to the lake. We're going to need some water. Not water skins. Huh. Okay. How about a pond? That didn't work. Is it lake? This is an actual pool pool tables. Oh, come on, man. Where's my where's my water assets? Okay, I gotta search through my library to find it. Oh, is it a river? Okay. Let's look for riverbank. Okay, let's grab some of these things. Oh, these are, okay, we're back in token. There you go. We'll just grab 4 corners that we can use as a basis for our lake. Move this a bit. Okay, so now we know the rough shape of the lake. What we need is this to be a bit wider. There you go. And we need actual water. So now I need to find water. Oh wait, no, I still need, you know, I still need the riverbank to cover the bottom, top and bottom. There we go. Grab something like this. Let's zoom in a bit closer so it's easier to see exactly what we're doing. Yeah, it looks nice. Let's tilt our thing a bit more. Nope. Yeah, there you go. Need more straights. This one will be good. It also dips a bit. This is gonna need to be flipped a bit. Let's flip it. Okay. And this connection is a little weak. What if I shrunk this a bit? This is too small. This is kind of better. You still need actual water though. Okay, so let's go ahead and find some water. That wasn't it. Maybe it's in my other parts. Ah, it's gonna open the thing again. Yeah, get out of here. All right. River patch. That's what I need. There we go. All right. Oh, look at that. That's an actual lake, ladies and gentlemen. Nice. I'm very happy with that result. All right, we got our goblin. Let's go ahead and add some crabs. That's a big one. That's too big. The giant crabs are going to be about as big as a goblin, I'm pretty sure. Let me double check, because I have the stat block. It's actually medium. It's bigger than a goblin. That's scary. That's actually scary. All right, well. We're going to go ahead and add its stat block now. So it's got 13 hit points, 15 armor class. And when it attacks, it has a +3 to hit. All natural weapons, so nothing about it really changes. The only thing I'm going to add is that it says here that the crab has 2 claws, each of which can grapple only 1 target. I'm going to go ahead and, based on this photo, the giant crab really only has 1 claw. So, the crab has 1 claw. 1 claw, which can only grapple 1 target. I'm going to add a little feature here. The crab has advantage on claw attacks against targets that it has grappled. So if it grapples you, it is more likely to keep grappling you. Great. And so we're gonna flood this thing with crabs. We're gonna put like 4 crabs in here. And this goblin, I'm going to make a special note. It's worth noting, these goblins, actually, I'm going to have to change their stat blocks because these will not have the war picks that the goblin before had. Instead, they're going to have their standard weapons, which if I check the goblin stat block should be a scimitar and a short bow. Right, scimitar and short bow. So I'm gonna go ahead and take that. Okay. Okay. And I'm just gonna, there we go. And for this goblin, instead of a scimitar, because he's sort of dealing with the crabs right now, I'm going to give him something that would be more appropriate. I'm going to give him a net. Which, instead of a short bow, a net Range weapon attack. It's gonna be +4. It has a range of 5 to 15. And it doesn't do any piercing damage. But it does, I believe, restrain creatures? We can double check. Yes. DC 10 strength check or deal 5 slashing damage. Which is important because it's specifically slashing damage, and I believe the crabs do piercing damage. Let's double check. They do bludgeoning damage. Okay, so yeah, they can't easily escape. And what's their strength? Their strength is +1, so. Okay. So that's settled. We're gonna get that guy a net. And that's just the one goblin. Next, we're going to have this sort of recreational area. So what I want to do is I want to do something that's cute and fun. No, that doesn't work. Let's do... Nope. Let's look for something that's like a decoration. These are all rugs and such. Oops. Ah! Spilled some water. Do not mind me. I'm going to type random garbage just to clean this out. Okay, we're good. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna repurpose a magic circle, and I'm gonna make it a little bit faint. And I should be able to do that by changing. Does it have a? Should have. Oh geez, I don't think it has a way to change the opacity. Does it? Oh well, it looks all right. So it's gonna be this, and I'm also going to little. I'll do this. I'll look for a rock. I'm looking for like a little rock, so it's kind of like chalk, and the goblins are doing like a little chalk thing, almost like a little goblin game. All I need is to find a nice white rock that makes sense. I'll look for a snowy rock to fit the theme. Let's see. Yeah, I'm not gonna do anything particularly special. Here's my rock. I'm gonna make it super small, just noticeable. And it's basically just a piece of chalk. This should be a map thing though. This should be a map thing. There you go. And then I'm going to do a big pot because they're gonna cook. They're gonna cook the crabs. They're gonna eat them. That's how they survive. They need a way to eat. I need a cooking pot, not like a clay pot. A cod oven. That's weird. Ah. Searching for these is a little inconvenient. I just I just downloaded way so much stuff. Oh, there we go. Okay. Look for pot metal. Metal should help us find what we want. Yeah. Let's look for a big pot because they cook big crabs. And we'll look for a rusty pot. Am I still in... I'm still in objects mode. There you go. I'm gonna make it a little bit bigger for crayons. All right, and that's gonna go over a big, I'm gonna do like a forge kind of deal. No? What about oven? Sure, let's add an oven like this. The pot goes into the oven. And there's going to be a big fire here. Yeah, a pyre. That seems good. All right, so let's get these in the proper order. So this is in front of the fire. This is in front of, whoops. This is in front of that, so it's gonna look like that. It's gotta be bigger. Bigger. So this is gonna be here. And this should probably be a little bit smaller. Yeah, let's make this a little bit smaller. There you go. And now we're going to add some cages. Yep. And well, I didn't want to copy you yet, but it's a good thing you're here because you're about to go in these cages, my dude. Yeah, I think 4 more is probably fine. Did you keep your stats from as a token? You did. Oh, awesome. All right. So, in you go. And the last thing I'm going to add are a pair of dice. Really? You don't have dice. What about cards? Ah, you do have cards. Okay, so we need a bench. Okay. I don't like this. Let's not have a bench. Let's just play on the floor. Okay, let's put the magic circle a bit closer. Like so. And the cards, which of course I made an object again. I'll just put here. There you go. We have that area wrapped up. We are going to put a torch into this hallway. Like so. Lines up. All right, let's move on to our armory. Getting a lot of dropped frames. Is anyone noticing that? Let me see if I can fix that real quick. Well, actually, no, I can't fix it until I end the stream. So I'll just keep that in mind. It just means I gotta drop the resolution next time. At least until I fix our upload problems. Anyway, we'll just move on. So, back to our armory. We're gonna go ahead and add a big suit of armor. I'll maybe not be as specific. You don't have armor. Yeah, you have a lot of weapon racks, tracks, and things that are cracked. Let's do maybe a statue. We have like a knighted statue that kind of would acts well as a suit of armor. These are very clearly metal or stone. Let me see if there's metal statues. There we go, a standing knight. This will work fine. And we're gonna take this knight and we're gonna make him small, because that is goblin sized. This is really meant for small characters. And we're gonna give this a purple tint, because this armor has been made with the crystals that line up with the goblin's tastes. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna put this armor, we're gonna put it here. Oh, pardon me. Like that. And then we're gonna fill some other stuff. So we need shields. Just trying to find the right shield, because there are versions that are tilted. Yeah, this is what I want. Zoom in a little bit, make this a bit smaller, and we're gonna actually put a few of these out there. Probably should have rotated this before copying, but that's okay. Also, are these all tokens? Ah, they're all tokens. Become map, and you become map. There you go. And then, in addition to the shields, we're going to add a few more traditional weapons of the goblins. We're going to add some scimitars. Again, small scimitars. Just a few. We're going to add we're going to add quivers. Just 2. And then more importantly, we're going to add oh boy. Lots of ropes, but no nets. What if I look for fishing? I can find hooks. Net. Alright. We are going to have to improvise a little bit because I only got ropes. That's okay. I'm going to take this and I'm going to rotate it in a bunch of different ways. That's too much. Okay. So if I do this and then that and then this, that should probably, yeah. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do this. Copy this. I'm going to do a group. Put this back. So now this is just basically a single object. And again, it's going to be small. Actually, these guys probably need bigger nets to actually hold a giant crab. Yep, we're just adding some nets to... What just happened? There we go. We're just adding some nets for the crabs. And then... Actually, all the nets are going to go here. And then in here, we're going to have all those potions I mentioned before. I'm gonna look for a potion. I'm gonna look for a table. I'm gonna look for potions and just stack them on top. Go. Let's make this a bit of a wider table. Yeah, like that. Now we're just going to add a bunch of potions to it. And before we throw them all down, let's take a look at the potions list. If you were to go to, let's see. let's reference our basic rules because there should be a list on adventuring gear. Let's see if we can find it. Equipment. So equipment, armor, and shield weapons. Adventuring gear. That would be 49. If you look at page 49, you should be able to find some potion-like things. So looking at this list, we've got acid. That'll be our orange potion. We've got alchemist's fire. That'll be our red potion. What else do we have? The rest looks to be basic items. Symbol, holy water, hunting trap, a lamp. Oh, here it is. A basic poison. That'll be our green potion. And what else? I noticed that in here, it's not listing anything in terms of healing potions. We're gonna go ahead and add a healing potion anyway. That's gonna be our blue potion. And if you're curious, you could always do some quick research to see what is in a healing potion or what a healing potion does. We're gonna go ahead and make these super small. And I'm gonna put 2 alchemist fires, 1 acid. I'm gonna do 1 poison, and I'm gonna do 2 healing potions. We're gonna do a little bit more. I'm actually gonna do 1 more of each. We got room. There you go. Let's make a note of what these things do. Potion, special damage, and healing. We have acid. And again, referencing our quick rules. Throw up to 20 feet. Range attack, which is basically your dexterity, by the way. And it is, I'll say it's an improvised. Actually, let's put this in a better phrase. Improvised ranged attack, 20 feet. Dex versus armor class. 2d6 acid damage. We'll put it down here. Then there's Alchemist's Fire. Again, same idea, improvised ranged attack. There's 20 feet. Dex versus AC. 1d4 fire damage. I'll put this in the next line. 1d4 fire damage and 1d4 fire damage. At the start of turn, unless the target takes an action and makes a DC 10, what was it? DC 10 dexterity check. Great. And looking at the exact rules of the adventuring gear, you don't get that instant D4 fire damage, so it should just be this. But I always like to do some fire damage instantly. But in any case, I'll just do it this way, because rules as written. Then we got the poison. Let's look what the poison does. Okay. Apply as an action to a weapon or 3 pieces of ammo. When you hit with a poisoned weapon. Oh, whoops. Target makes a DC 10 con save or takes 1d4 poison damage. Okay, poison lasts 1 minute. All right. Oh, there's a potion of healing. It's right there. It's right after potion. Oh, poison. Cool. Potion of healing. As an action, drink the potion. Oh wait, I'll just say this. So drink the potion to regain 2d4 plus 2 HP. All potions take an action to use. Cool. So now we know what we got. We got shields, some scimitars, some quivers. We have a suit of purple armor that is heavy. So it's like let's say specifically, what kind of heavy armor do we have? If we look at back at our rules, we can actually see the heavy armor available, and you could also do that for the weapons as well. Where is our equipment? Armor and shields and weapons. So if we look at our heavy armor, I'm gonna go with I mean, it doesn't look like chainmail or ring mail. So I'm gonna say it's plate. I mean, it looks like plate, but it's small. So let's do small plate mail with purple enchantment, which gives resistance to, let's say, fire and acid damage. Okay. As well, we have shields, nets, small scimitars, and a total of 40 arrows in quivers. In case your, team wants to loot all this stuff. All right, there we go. Now, there's a bit of a gap here. I noticed that there's a lot of negative space in this. So I'm going to return to this later to understand what we can have here. We can move on to our treasure room. What's going to be in our treasure room? I think there's just going to be a fat chest full of money. Keep it simple. Oh, I'm still in GM mode. Just full of money. Look at how big that chest is. That chest is probably too big. That's like bigger than most people. No, that's too big. Yeah, we'll just leave it like that. Okay. And I'm gonna say that this treasure room contains a chest with 500 BP per player, which is usually going to be like 1500 GP. And of course, this is just my take. You can decide whatever you want, how much money you want to give your players. I'm going to give them a lot of money. All right, we're gonna move on to this central camp. This central camp's gonna be busy. It's gonna be really busy. The big thing I want a watchtower here. What if I just look for tower? A lot of these are shingled. Is there like wood? Can I search for a wood tower? Roof lining wood, dark tower. Interesting. What about wood box? Any of these. What about wood square? Oh, I like this. Okay. Okay, perfect. So we're gonna go ahead and just do this. And we are going to do some wood beam. I hope they have like a beam or... Yeah, they do. So we're gonna take this beam and we're gonna do some magic with it to make it very clear that it's like a tower. This is like some tower shenanigans that we're doing right now. Let's put this in here. What if I flip this horizontally? That did not do much. Let's flip it back. There you go. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna put 2 goblins in here. And a lantern. And this is where I'm going to do something a little weird, because I want a hooded lantern. And if we search our adventuring gear for, I think, not a hooded lantern, what are they called? I gotta find it. A bullseye lantern. That's right. Bullseye lantern casts bright light in a 60-foot cone and dim light for an additional 60 feet. So, we want a bullseye lantern. I wonder if they have that listed. They do not. I just gotta find an appropriate lantern. All these are normal hooded lanterns. What about cone lantern? If I search for cone, does it help? Nope. All right, we're just gonna have to use our imagination on this one. Yeah, let's use this one. And so this lantern is here. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna measure 60 feet. Yeah, it's right around this section. You see that? So here's what I'm gonna do. Yeah. So what I'm going to do is, oh man, I realized that these walls are a little too close. I want these goblins to be able to peer at these edges. So in order to do that effectively, I think I need to move this a little bit. So here's what I'm going to do. Ah, darn. Okay. I got this. Then I'm adding each of these. Let's do a rotation. Oh man, I got like none of it. Okay. Okay. No, I got that thing. This is a struggle. What if the guard tower was in here? Whoopsie. If I did that, how is my vision? I got the vision here perfectly. Here is perfect. Here is good, but this needs moving me a little bit. This is fine. And this is fine. Okay, so if I put it here, I get what I need. The only thing is that this curve is a little too much. So I'm gonna tighten this wall a bit. It's gonna be a little sloppy, but we're getting through it. Okay, that gives me a bit more leeway here, which means that I can take this dude and move him just a little bit. Like that. I can take this little thing. I gotta move him back. There you go. Ah, tweaks. Tweaks, tweaks, tweaks. All right, so with this kind of vision, yeah, we get a peek at this corner, fine. We get a peek at this corner, fine. Perfect, we're good. All right, but now it's way more than 60 feet, which is okay. because we get the additional 60 feet from the bullseye lantern. So it's gonna be dim light, which I'm gonna say is okay. So let's go ahead and take our boys and put them here. Perfect. And I'm gonna make a 120 foot, or actually I'm just gonna go ahead and make, I'm gonna do a bit of cheating. And you're gonna have to follow my lead on this. So I'm gonna make a series of lines, okay? So first, this is the corner that we care about. This area here. Boom. That's one corner. This goblin with the lantern is going to be front and center. Oops. Okay. And I'm going to repeat this for the other entryways. Let's go ahead and... No, I don't want green. Darn, get out of here. And by the way, these are all going on the GM layer. Oops, that's too narrow. There you go. Let's try that again. Okay. Rinse and repeat. Would be around here. We'll adjust these as we need to. Around here, okay? Oh, that's polygon reveal. That's not what I want. There you go. Now, the only thing that's a problem is this boy, which I'm just going to shrink a little bit. Why are you being problematic? There you go. Okay, this is just the basis. I'm going to use this to make a new one. So from here to about here. That's better. Delete that. This goes here. And so now what I've made is basically watch goblins that are going to be checking out a different corner every turn. So we're gonna go ahead and just describe that a little bit better here. Yes, they help with the short bow attack because, and this is important, if I look at this goblin and check out their short bow. Oh, these are nets. Oops, they should be short bows. Let me find this goblin who's the guard and replace that. Oh, you have a war pick. Oh, darn. Let me fix that. Yes. So you'll notice that the short bow has a range of 80 to 320 feet, which means that sometimes the goblin might have disadvantage because it's long range. Which is also something that we could note here. Let me. No, not you. You should be a map player. There you go. Over 80 feet. So that would mean, like, for example, if you get caught at the very edge of that search range, then this goblin who's shooting 100 feet would not get disadvantage. Now, it's worth noting that normally to help someone, you need to be within 5 feet of the target, but I'm willing to make an exception in this particular circumstance. And it's worth noting that this is technically cheating. And when you do the rules as written, I'll make that. Note, normally to help you need to be within 5 feet of the target. Okay. There you go. And let's fill in the rest of this. Nope. What about this? It's not what I want. Oh, there we go. This is kind of what I want. We're not in the GM layer anymore. Get this ring in. And we're going to add one more goblin, who is the goblin boss. And what we're going to do to signify that he's the boss, we're going to go ahead and take an existing goblin, and we're going to make this guy purple because he's wearing his special suit of purple armor. That's a little too much purple. Let's make it a little lighter. I wonder if I can change the hint size. Let's do something like this. There you go. Okay, that's worth it. Okay. And we're gonna look for the Goblin Boss. The Goblin Boss has a few different things. So the first thing worth noting is that he has an armor class of 17. But because I decided that he's wearing plate, instead of 17, he's gonna have the appropriate armor for plate mail. So we need to look up what that is. And again, we can refer to our rules here. Look at our armor. Where's our armor? There it is. Plate is 18. Okay. He's got 21 hit points. And when he attacks, he has +4 to hit. Now, what's worth noting is that his strength, he's not strong enough to wear plate armor. He only has a strength of 10. Let me actually get the exact stat block out for you. There you go. So it's gonna be 20. Because of the, yeah, it's 20 because I forgot that he also has a shield. So we should be at 20 armor class. And a few other things I'm going to note here. He has resistances to fire and acid because of the armor. What else? Nimble escape, multi-attack retard, reactions, and redirect attack. Now, let's see the rules for the armor. Yes. Heavier armor interferes with the wearer's ability to move quickly, stealthily, and freely. If the armor table shows strength or strength 15, strength 15 or strength 15 in the strength column for armor type, the armor reduces the wearer's speed by 10 feet. Unless the wearer has a strength score equal to or higher than the listed score. So that means that this guy's speed is actually slower than normal. So instead of 30 feet, it's 20 feet. He's wearing heavy armor. He's not strong enough to carry it. Okay. All right. The rest of this makes sense. I'm going to go ahead and add that in. Now, why is this here? It's like an arena. These goblins fight each other sometimes. Decide who's the boss, who gets to wear the purple armor. We may add more details to this later, but we've been at this for a little while, so I'm hoping to get past and get to the rest of the rooms. We're almost done. We just need to get to the secret room, the sleeping quarters, and then make our final stairs and our exit. Let's say that there's actually a torch here. The last thing I'll put is a torch here. Just so we can get... Actually, I want a standing torch, actually. Is there a standing little pillar thing that we can use? Not really. Whatever. I'm going to put this here. And I'm just going to shrink it so it looks like it's standing. And I'm going to give it that aura that I was talking about before. So it's got 20... Actually, yeah. It's got 20-foot radius of a circle, white, and then another 40-foot radius, yellow, like so. Right? Is that what we want? Yes, that's what we want. That way you can see that the entire arena is covered. And again, if you just put these in the map because this is in the token section. If you just want to hide this, you could always just put it in the map layer. But I'm going to not do that, because if someone is seeing the torch, they can see the light, even if they can't see the source of that light. So I'm going to leave this here. Looks a little ugly, but it's going to be pretty useful to help teach players about how light works. And yeah, I could have done this on the first floor. Maybe I'll do that later. All right, let's move on to our sleeping quarters. So for this one, we're just gonna do some sleeping. Actually, we're gonna copy sleeping bag from floor 1. We already have that. We can just use it again. Give me that sleeping bag. There you go. And for these, we're just gonna litter them around, just so the goblins aren't terribly organized. And we're gonna put some buckets here for you know what, because we don't got plumbing. We don't got plumbing at this day and age, so these goblins have to make do with buckets. And I'll add some bones and other scraps from meals they might have eaten. Let's see if I can find just a claw. Yeah, let's add some white claws. Yeah, that's good enough. As remnants of maybe the crabs they've eaten before. Just litter those around a little bit. Awesome. And the sleeping quarters for the boss goblin is going to be much more extravagant. First off, it's gonna have a door, because we haven't put any doors in our dungeon yet. They've all been pretty straightforward. Yeah, stone earthy door. Let's go. Okay. Yeah, we're gonna make a single bed, and I'm gonna make sure it's purple to match those crystals, because I want our goblin boss to be extravagant. Oh, interesting. So it's this, huh? I assume that I need to put this over the standard bed, which is green. Yeah, it's supposed to be like that. The front. Very odd. Okay. This goblin sleep around here, say. And we're gonna put a weapon rack in here because the goblin keeps track of their own. This goblin boss likes to have his weapons near him, which is gonna include these things because the goblin boss actually uses javelins. We're gonna leave that here. Like so. Of course, even the goblin boss is not immune to the bucket. So that goes here. But he gets to put it in the corner where... Yeah. What else is there? I'm running a blank on what to put in the next, in the rest of the room. Let's finish our secret room and stairs, and then we'll do a bit of brainstorming before we close off the stream for today. First off, I realized that this secret room has not been walled in. Actually, yeah. Okay, and we're gonna need some corners. Where are my corners at? There you go. I'm gonna decide what's in the treasure room later. Actually, in order to decide what's in the treasure room, we should look back at our list of mechanics. Let's do a checklist of what we've covered so far in our various sections. So we've talked about, so we have gone over armor and how that works because we have that armory room. We've talked about those different skills and abilities, but that's, of course, we're not talking about new skills and abilities as far as those checks go. We have our hit dice. We haven't done really anything here yet. We kind of have drowning if someone ends up getting pulled into the water by a crab. Okay, so we have our combat, we have our turn order and surprise. That's just going to be natural. And a lot of this is going to be demonstrations based on whenever the player actually encounters the goblins, or vice versa. So I'm going to go ahead and just put X's here when I think it's fairly covered. Okay, so these are the basic rules that we're going to be able to get. We haven't covered different speed types. I don't think crabs have a swimming speed, do they? We can double check. They do have swimming speed, but it's the same, so it's not really going to apply that much. Bonus interaction, not using an item like a potion, yep. Opportunity attacks. This will happen whenever a crab wants to disengage. Crabs will typically want to run away unless they start their turn next to someone, or they outnumber them. We're going to talk about surprise. We're going to talk about grappled. We don't really have a way to talk about being prone. That is good. So we can consider something that helps you when you're prone, or something involving the treasure or the other sections of the room that would cause you to become prone. So we have that avenue to look at. We have our different common actions. We're definitely going to be talking about attacks. Depending on casting a spell. Right now, none of the goblins cast a spell, so we're skipping that unless one of your players can cast spells. It's kind of on them. Dashing, well, disengaging, and hiding is important. There's help action with the lantern. There's search. And using an object is something that's covered by the players when they get those potions. Resistances, vulnerabilities, and immunities. Right now we're just talking about resistances, so maybe we could grant a treasure that could cover the other ones. That would be interesting. Damage types, we kind of cover that with the potions and also cover that with the nets. When you realize that you need slashing damage to destroy a net. And we're not ignoring any of this. So looking at this, we're interested in the ready action. And we're interested in basically these actions that have not been covered and these conditions that haven't been covered yet, as well as resistances and vulnerabilities and immunities. So we could look up an interesting list of magic items. I think there's magic items, a few examples of magic items in the basic rules. Are there? Let's see. Trade goods, expenses, trinkets. Yep. Oh, there it is. Magic items. Let's see what magic items are available in the basic rules to help cover any of these topics we haven't covered yet. Oh, a ring of resistance. Perfect. You have resistance to 1 damage type while wearing the ring. The gem in the ring indicates the type, which the DM determines or chooses randomly. So, what we can do is we can add a ring of resistance that is similar to the armor. So here's what we're gonna do. Ring of... Okay, we're gonna add a chest. Or rather, I'm gonna add a sack here. A little sack. And we're going to... Yeah. I'm just gonna put that here. Contains a ring of resistance with no gem. Which means that the players can either put in a purple gem, or purple crystal equals, let's see what that is actually. What is a purple crystal? That's a garnet, right? Garnet? No, garnets are typically red. Let's see. Is it a citrine? What's citrine? Ah, if only I was good at understanding gems. No, they're yellow. What's a spinel? Oh, magnesium. It's kind of purple. We could consider that. What about jet? Jet must be like a black, like onyx. What about amethyst? Yeah, amethyst is purple. All right, purple amethyst, which is resistance to poison. So with that in mind, I'm actually going to update our goblin boss because I gave the goblin boss resistance to fire and acid, but realistically, based on this crystal, he should have resistance to poison. There you go. And then, of course, if they have a purple crystal, they can slot it in and they can gain. They'll have a ring of resistance to poison. Or if they go to town and you decide that they can find a different crystal if they want a different resistance, they can do that. Awesome. So we have that. That covers... That helps us cover the resistance and vulnerabilities and immunities. You know what I'm going to do, though? I'm going to go ahead and try to cover the rest of that here. I'm gonna say that this guy, because of how strong the armor is actually immune to poison. And to make up for that, if it is a... we can give him a vulnerability. Vulnerability means double damage from a certain type, and I'm gonna say a vulnerability to acid. Just that we've covered all 3 types. Why is he vulnerable to acid? Because I said so. we can make up any number of reasons why. The armor he's using based on its materials, or just his age, might make him vulnerable to acid damage, but I'm deciding that he is. And we'll want to spend some time having a good explanation for why that's the case later. I want to say that it's because the armor that is used to create this is made of a especially corrosive material. And maybe with an investigation check, the players could learn that about the armor. So it could be like a good hint for them. But that covers the immunity and vulnerability and resistance. That's all covered here. Then there's also these actions: dash and dodge and ready. Let's see if there's a magic item that can cover any of those. Not terribly much here. We may need to think more about these conditions in a future floor. We've covered a lot. Now let's go ahead and add our stairs and get out of here. Stairs. This will bring us further and further down. If we want something that's a bit smaller, like as far as stone goes, I don't want to do more corner stairs. Yeah, let's do something like this. This curvature kind of works. We could even like tweak the curvature of these to line up with and then we will add some darkness, or maybe I'll just look for a shadow. The tree shadows, I kind of want their shadows. Could make some of this work. Actually, I don't know. Not a lot of this stuff can work. Let's do stair shadow. Like this. That can work. Go ahead and tweak it. Ooh. Ah. There we go. Now I'm just gonna take this big wall and do that, and that was a mistake. Ah, oh, darn. Yeah, that's not good. Yeah. I should just use this one. Okay, I'm gonna say that's good enough. I don't want to spend way too long on this. There we go. All right. Okay, so we got our stairs, our treasure room, our secret room, our armory, this area. Oh, we should probably, so what we're gonna do next week is handle some of the finer details of this floor with, you know, appropriate checks as necessary, special notes, and from there we'll have this floor complete. It's getting a little late, so I think I'm going to be calling the stream, and probably in between streams I'll have some brainstorming on how we're going to do our checks and how we should write our notes and any little extra things we can add, like maybe in this divot here and so on. We'll get through those, and then we'll be brainstorming for floor 3.